We are just a few weeks away from the start of the 2024 United Football League season, and I cannot be more excited. With the USFL and the XFL coming together to form one strong spring league, I thought it would be fun to go through each team and preview their head coach, roster, and schedule. Today, we will be talking about the most dominant USFL team over the past 2 years, the Birmingham Stallion. The team that has won the USFL in back-to-back years and will look to win their third straight title and first UFL title this season. You won't want to miss this one. But before we get into this, if you enjoy college football and spring league football content like this, make sure to leave a like and subscribe. Also, let me know who your favorite UFL team is in the comments section below. The Birmingham Stallion have found a lot of success over the past 2 years in the USFL, winning back-to-back titles. This year they will look to win their third straight title and the first UFL title. In the 24 games the team has played in under Skip Holtz, they have only lost 3 games and come in as the favorites to win it all again this year. They return a lot of their key players once again and should be fun to watch. As I mentioned a few moments ago, the Stallions will once again be led by Skip Holtz, the son of legendary head coach Lou Holtz. When he first was hired by the Stallions, he had 22 years of college football experience and graduated from Notre Dame after spending his first 2 years of college at Holy Cross College, where he improved his grades. At Notre Dame, he was a walk-on football player, mainly spending time on the special team. After his playing career, Florida State's Bobby Bowden would take him under his wing, bringing him in as a grad assistant. He would spend time as the wide receivers coach for Colorado State, and Notre Dame would be promoted to offensive coordinator when Bowden tried to get him to leave Notre Dame to come to Florida State to serve as their offensive coordinator. It would help the Irish go 48-1 and took his first head coaching job at UConn, leading them to their first Division I AA playoff appearance in their 100-year history and finishing with a 34-23 record before joining his father at South Carolina. Holtz would spend time at East Carolina, USF, and Louisiana Tech as a head coach, putting together a 118-98 record as an FBS head coach before being let go by Louisiana Tech in 2021. Skip would become the Stallions head coach during the inaugural USFL season, putting together an 11-1 record and winning the championship, and followed that up leading them to a 10-2 record and a second straight USFL championship last year. Since the USFL reemerged in 2022, the Birmingham Stallions have set the standard for spring football supremacy, dominating for 2 years. Now, in a new league facing new teams, the Stallions are bringing in a coaching staff and roster that have found success together already. This is a team built for another title run. Leading the way at quarterback, the Stallions returned Jamar Smith, who played for Holtz at Louisiana Tech and served as the team's starting quarterback in 2022, throwing for 1,572 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions, would get hurt in Week 1 of the 2023 season. Alex Magoo would take over the starting spot for the injured Smith and put together a stellar season, throwing for 2,104 yards and 20 touchdowns en route to winning the USFL MVP and getting signed by the Green Bay Packers. Smith now returns healthy and looks to be the favorite to win the starting quarterback job, will be competing with former third-round draft pick Matt Corral, as well as Adrian Martinez and Jalen Morton. I expect Smith to win the starting job due to his starting experience under Holtz in college and how he played in 2022. At running back, CJ Marable returns and looks to be the favorite to be the starting running back for the defending USFL champions. Joining him will be a combo of Ricky Pearson Jr., Larry Roundtree, and Bo Scarborough. While Scarborough impressed at Alabama back in the day, some feel he may be a roster cut when the team drops down to 50 players on the roster from 75. Actually, as I was editing the video, it was announced that Bo Scarborough had decided to retire from football. Marable rushed for 525 yards and 3 touchdowns last season, while Pearson Jr. rushed for 83 yards and a touchdown during the regular season. Pearson would step up in the playoffs, rushing for 122 yards, while Marable rushed for 121 yards. The wide receiver room is stacked with talent, consisting of Victor Bolden, who rejoins the Stallions after spending the 2023 season with the Arlington Renegades of the XFL. In 2022, he was the USFL Championship Game MVP. The room will be rounded out by a combo of Deion Kane, Chris Lacey, Benjamin Victor, Slade Bolden, Amari Rogers, Marlon Williams, Kevin Austin, Gary Jennings, and Myron Mitchell. Expect anywhere from 3 to 5 of those guys to be cut for the final roster cuts. All USFL tight end Jace Sternberger returns, as well as Jordan Thomas. The offensive line looks to be a position of upgrade as compared to last year and should end up being a very strong unit. The unit is stacked with talent that anybody cut from the team will probably end up with another team's roster. On the defensive side of the ball, the Stallions are looking to replace Khalil Davis, who is now playing for the Houston Texans. The man looking to replace him is his brother Carlos Davis. Marvin Wilson, a former Florida State Seminole, was once thought to be a better NFL draft prospect than Derek Brown. He'll look to get his career back on track down in Birmingham this season. They also traded for former Last Chance U player Chauncey Rivers with the DC Defenders. When it comes to the edge position, this team is stacked between Owen Carney, Carlo Kemp, Hercules Mataafa, Henry St. Armor, Dondre Tillman, Curtis Weaver, and DeMarcus Mitchell. Every one of these players either has excelled at the Spring League or is an interesting addition from the NFL. Whoever gets cut from this unit will find a home somewhere else. This room is just so talented. At linebacker, the Stallions went out and brought in former All-USFL player and former Wisconsin Badger Chris Orr and Kaiheva Tazino, while also adding NFL veteran Traven Howard. DeMarcus Gates is also on the roster, finishing as an All-USFL player in 2022, leading to a 2-year stint with the Chicago Bears. They also have fan favorite Scooby Wright, who has dealt with injuries throughout his career, as well as Elijah Sullivan and Damon Lloyd. Some expect Lloyd and Wright to end up being cut. The UFL has some strong secondaries this year, and the Stallions look to have a strong unit themselves. They have a completely new group of guys with Nevo Clark, Mark Gilbert, and Channing Stribling, and former NFL guys like Ike Brown and Chris Jackson, former NFL draft pick and St. Louis Battlehawk safety Kenny Robinson, who makes a triumphant return to the Spring Football League, who also will compete with Bubba Bolden. They also have former New Orleans Breaker James Wiggins and former Chicago Bears safety AJ Thomas. When it comes to the special teams, the Stallions return punter Colby Wadman and long snapper Ryan Langan. They will look to replace Brandon Aubrey, who is killing it in the NFL right now, and that man looks to be Chris Blewett, who did a great job with the Maulers last year. The Stallions have a stacked roster that may be one of the best in the league this year, if not the best roster we have seen in the Spring League in the past decade. There is a reason they are the favorites to win it all this season. They open up the season against the defending XFL champions in the Arlington Renegades, led by former Oklahoma head coach Bob Stoops and quarterback Luis Perez. The Renegades started last year off rough, but when they added Perez via trade, the season turned around. They followed that up with a game against Michigan on the road. The Panthers had one of the best defenses in the USFL last year, but the Stallions have dominated Michigan in recent history. Their home opener against Memphis looks to be a possible shootout, but I think in the end the home field advantage will be too much, and the Stallions will enter their game against the DC Defenders 3-0. Jordan Teamu returns at quarterback for the Defenders, and many feel like this game could be a preview for the UFL Championship game. The Defenders had the best regular season record in the XFL last season, but lost in the XFL Championship game to Arlington, and expect this to be a revenge tour. I believe the Defenders will win the game in overtime. The only team that has been able to beat Birmingham the past 2 years has been the Houston Gamblers. With the merger, the Houston Roughnecks were the Houston team to survive, but they take on all the pieces of the Houston Gamblers. I think Birmingham takes a 3-2 series lead to move to 4-1. Week 6 could be a huge game for the Stallions as they look to keep control of the USFL Conference. I think Memphis will get the split and Birmingham will drop to their second game of the season. Coming off their second loss of the season and sitting at 4-2, in Week 7 the Stallions host St. Louis. Can we talk about how the heck the Stallions were able to pull off hosting both DC and St. Louis in the same season? That doesn't really sit right with me. The two toughest home environments outside Birmingham, and they don't have to travel to either of them. I think Birmingham pulls off a late score to win the game and moves to 5-2. In Week 8, I think they beat Houston to claim the series sweep and beat San Antonio and Michigan to finish off their regular season 8-2 and win the USFL Conference regular season title. Overall, the Stallions are a stacked team and get pretty lucky with how their schedule turned out on paper. What do you think? How well will Birmingham do this season? Let me know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out one of my other videos YouTube thinks you will love right here. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, remember to embrace the grind.